But let's start with about how to build this personal brand that is extremely important. One thing that I want to highlight, I want questions. Here is questions, question, question. Don't hesitate. This, I am not gonna eat you. I'm not a lion. You need questions. But let's start with something that I like to call like the basics. The basics is divided in two parts. The TM brand, that is something that all of us will know, and the most important that we're gonna check a little bit further is your identity. This is crucial, and I would like that you mentalize this since this beginning. Even if you have a pen and paper, write it right now. Identity. This is crucial. This is the most important when you're building a personal brand. With the basics, you have a very, let's say, extensive manual, but in my experience, what has worked for our club, what has been very successful is that we consider 3 points. Let's take into consideration, this is what has worked, and let's say we have even members from Indonesia, Cambodia, and let's say a lot of people from the Philippines and different countries, especially in the East Asia, are coming to our meetings. You have the palette. This is something that you have 4 colors more or less that you can consider. Then you have a font. And here I would like that you know how to install a font. Because if you have never installed a font, please do a thumbs up here in the chat, because I would like to see how many people have ever installed a font in your computers. If you have never, please do a thumbs up or do something, because I would like to see how many people have installed a font in their computers. This is something, because in Toastmasters, they tell you, let's see. What else? Who else? I want to see. Go. So let's see a small video. This is one of the fonts that I discovered a long time ago, similar to Toastmasters. Toastmaster has one called Gotham, but honestly speaking, none of us have access to it because it's paid. So I found one some time ago called Gotham, Montserrat, that what you do is that, let's see, what it does is that you need to download the font. I have here the link, then it opens the font and it gives you several options. In my opinion, I tend to use the normal one. You have extra light, italic, something that you can check. I tend to use the regular one. And then it's gonna open the control panel. There are 2 ways. One is only double clicking the file. And the second one is what this guy is doing, going to the fonts and dragging and dropping the font. Why this is important? Because over the time when you're building a brand, you need to use certain fonts. You can use Montserrat, you can use, let's say, I don't suggest you to use Times New Roman or those, let's say, a little bit old-fashioned fonts. This guy is going to install all of them. Personally, I just install 1 or 2 of them, because if not, it adds a lot of extra material to your system. But yeah, you can technically do it in your own way. At the end of the process, you will have your Montserrat installed in the application. And this is more or less the first step, that we install a font. The next step that you have from Toastmasters, that is about the logos that we need to respect, that these are mainly how it should look like. And these are like the basic things that we can see. We will go a little bit later about that part, Anna. And let's say these are some of the logos and things that we know. But now, I would like to go to what a friend of mine from Poland told me once, the meat of the cake. As I said, I would like that we focus on an identity. And I would like that maybe one of you open your mic and tell me, what do you think is an identity? Why do you think this is important?
Anyone, it's our brand. It's our brand. It's how the world sees us.
Yes, And now let me ask you a question. How do you really differentiate from another club if we only use the same colors and the same things that we saw before?
Consistency.
Let's say yes, it's a good point, but it's still how do you make yourself different? Because if you're
Perhaps,
using the same,
perhaps your club is interested in telling stories and you want to sharpen the focus and attract more people who want to learn how to tell stories, and you become really good at doing that sort of a thing.
yes, and this is one of the things that we're going to start. Now, we're going to start with the pictures. I am pretty sure that all of you have seen maybe this picture all the time. And if you have seen it, this guy is giving you the best impression ever. You should not use these pictures. And why? I come from El Salvador. I live in Poland and I'm moving to Spain. If you go to my country, El Salvador, and I see this picture, specifically this lady, I am 100% sure that this is not from El Salvador, 100% sure. The first blonde lady that I met, it was almost 6 years and a half ago, the day before I came to Poland in Microsoft. The first time I saw a blonde lady. So I'm 100% sure that this picture is unrelated to what I'm doing and gives a very bad impression if you don't live in that place. Imagine that you're opening a club in China. Blonde people or different, or even these papers is like Generation X, the generation younger than next to my brother. None of them is using paper, and it gives a very misleading impression about what you're using. For us, is in my club, we have always are taking someone pictures of the meetings. These are meetings from the last week. And as you see, I am like, some people might say, well, I am a kind of white guy or something like that, let's say. But in my club, we have this lady from India. Chilpa is from India, living in Brussels. Kunang is from Cambodia, and Melba is from Indonesia. Our club is extremely diverse in that sense. And interestingly enough, like I will say, with exception of the president and I, everyone is a woman. Maybe there is a third man, I don't remember, but yeah, we have like 12 women and 2 men. No, yes, I remember there is another guy, but really it's like our club is like when the people go to our social media, they see a lot of women because that's something that makes it us as a very unique club. So what I said is start taking those pictures. Every meeting that you have, even online, take a picture. How do you do it? Well, you can do something like this, Windows Shift and S, and you immediately take a picture. In Windows, it will be here. It doesn't take you a lot of time. And the best one is take the pictures while you are doing the recording. In this moment is when you need to take the pictures, because after that, Zoom adds a very strange, let's say, watermark that makes the pictures less nice. So do it when you are doing the meeting. Like if you were in a regular meeting, a normal meeting, start taking pictures during the meetings, because in this way you are starting to build this identity. In our club, as I said, one of the things that identifies is that our club has a very large group of women and from a diverse backgrounds. The next one, I'm going to give you some ideas to get started. Think in what makes you unique. When new people come to our club, these are the words that people constantly say. We are a diverse club that combines seasoned and fresh members. No one speaks about the part of the storytelling. No one speaks about the part of, let's tell you, how to say that we have fresh members or like things like that. No, people always highlight that in our club there are, I think, 4 or 5 DTMs and the rest are, let's say, fresh members, but there is not that difference. And that people always say that, man, when I come to your club, I always feel that everyone helps and collaborate each other. And I don't see that, for example, you're a DTM or Amanda is another DTM or Michelle is another DTM, or Tiger is another DTM. There is not that difference. And the people always highlight that when they come to our meetings. And if I can tell you, in only this picture we have, this lady is from Russia, Shilpa from India, Indonesia, US, Jordan. I am from El Salvador, living in Poland, moving to Spain. Amanda from South Africa, who live in Argentina and now living in UK. Jill is from UK, and Ling, if I'm not sure, she was from UK too. But we have people from different places that constantly come, and we have created that environment. So the first thing that I will give you as a task now is take notes, and I would like during your next meeting in your club, when you're gathering with the board, start discussing what is the thing that identifies your club. What is that thing that you would like when the people see the pictures in your club, keeps that in mind. Because when you're building that personal brand, that needs to be here, and everyone in the club needs to think in that way. I'm telling you this, that some people do not know those things, because recently I started to contact some clubs in Madrid, where I'm moving at the end of the month, and the people were not very, let's say, very large clubs couldn't answer me that question. So I'm giving you this task during your next meeting with your board. Sit together and start thinking in that part that makes your club unique, the one that makes you shine over the rest of the clubs. And you might say, I haven't been teaching you how to build the parts of the colors, about these things, because what I'm telling you now is the first thing that you need to think before going to the social media and start throwing a lot of things to the air. Because then it's like, if you want to fix a car and you start, let's say, I'm going to put water, or maybe I'm going to put oil, I don't know, but maybe the gasoline tank will react if I put something. Yeah, you need to add gasoline before adding water, because it might destroy the engine. The next one. In our case, we defined some additional colors, and some more people will tell me, man, but in Toastmasters there are specific colors. Yes, I'm not saying that there is not, but you need to have at least one color more that makes your club visible in the medias. Because especially if you're not a very, very huge expert in this area, you're gonna compete, I don't know, maybe with 1,000 clubs. How many clubs are, I don't know, in just Southeast Asia, only in North America? You will have a very, very large competition, and you need to have something that when the people think, okay, this is the club that I'm following, and I'm not gonna confuse it with another club. That seems to be very clearly visible. And if you wanna, let's say, I wanna play safe with the colors. I don't wanna take a lot of risk. I'm a graphic, and I'm not a graphic designer, I am a web designer. And there is this magical website that is called Adobe Color, that go here and play. You enter in Adobe color.adobe.com. And for example, here we have the Toastmaster colors, 004165. I come here, and voila, here you have the colors that do a good combination. This tool will teach you, for example, which colors will make your website shine, and everything. And if you can find here, honestly speaking, the colors from here, they don't really match in this area. And this is a tool used by people globally. It's not a small website or something that is on testing. It's from Adobe. And if you have ever used a PDF reader or something like that, Photoshop, you might have heard about this application, about this corporation. Coming back, I'm gonna see if we have what other questions. Okay. The next one, you need to build a system. This is something even that I read in a book called, right now, we haven't built a website. We focus strictly on social medias, Brenda. And the reason is that based on our research, but this one was done in the Leadership Toastmasters in Poland, where another club that I belong, and even another club that I know from Brosov, that is another city, I say the latest generations, they don't really go to the websites, including myself that I'm a let's say I'm web developer in that area. We don't really check the websites. The website is more mainly we use it only to check official information, but the latest generations will go directly to your social medias. This is the main source of data. We have a website, but it's only, well, you register to your roles, but we focus on the larger audiences. So we haven't built it. Even in the leadership Toastmaster in which we don't have one at this point. So building a systems. This is something important. I even read it in a book called Your Next 5 Moves. This one was done by Sarah. Sarah designed a plan, an action plan. And as you can see, we have every day an action. Sunday is a, like, it gives you an entry of our meeting of the next week. This one was about books. The next day, we have a new video about owl reading. That is giving you a reminder, hey guys, come to the meeting. After that, we have the word of the day. Every Tuesday, rarely when we have, let's say, contest, we don't have, but you have a new word of the day. Then on Wednesdays, we tend to share something funny or something interesting about the meeting. On Thursday, we tend to share a video, or on Wednesday about a plan that we build. Like right now, during the club, during this season, we have something called what brought you to Toastmasters. So people share about their experiences in the clubs, and every week we share a new video of 30 seconds where the people share why are here, what brought them here, why they stay here. On Fridays in our system, we share the acknowledgements, the success of our members, even if it's a level 1 or if it's an icebreaker. Every Friday we highlight that. And on Saturdays, we have some folks to make our people, our followers, to feel engaged, something that makes them like feel comfortable. And we can see there are more women. She's from Greece, for example. And we create that environment where people can feel like okay. In this one, the first question, we do it directly. I know that there are other medias, but let's say that in our case, we are doing it on our own. We have our funds, we can build them, but no, we don't use any third parties. We know that there are other options, and that's something that we will speak almost at the end, why I believe that we need to do something else. The question to you for Anna is, to whom? Do you want to achieve, like, let's say, younger audiences, older audiences? Because one of the reasons why we use all these colors, all these shiny things, is because we try to attract very young members. Let's try to attract not only young, but let's say a neutral environment. We don't try to focus on we try, as I can tell you, Kunang has around 22, Melba 26, if I'm not wrong. Like Chilp is around 40, 30 something, and 30 something. So the visibility is related to the audiences. When you think about the audiences, is more than the social media, is how you build your brand. Because I can use Facebook, I can use Twitter, I can use that, but if I don't share the right message, the right colors, the right environment, the people will not come to your media. That's why you can see that in our case, as someone said, we have consistency in the colors, but at the same time, we try to create an agenda so people can come and, okay, we know that on Sunday we will discover what is the next week's meeting. On Monday, we have a small reminder, and if there is something very important, we highlight it the same day. Then, going about the daily topics, about Kate's question, what happened is that Sarah is, I will say, like, take it like the regular project manager. Even though she doesn't work as a project manager, she built a plan. Okay, what are we going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? And she started to build an agenda. And this is something that is very clearly visible in our templates. I'm going to explain this later. It shouldn't be now, but here we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and all the time we're doing this. Related to the audiences, as I said, Anna, you need to, this one you need to analyze. It doesn't work in the same way. I'm gonna give a little bit more details in the following slides. Because, for example, if you're going to speak about using TikTok, in TikTok, you need to record 15 seconds videos. It's not about sharing pictures. It's only about videos. So you need to make a funny video in Toastmaster about like, hey, why we didn't win the contest this time. And someone needs to make a joke about it. So it's a little bit different. And Kate, what I suggest you is try to have a meeting with your board and try to discuss what can the BPPR identify each and every single day of the week. Because what will happen, what will work maybe in your club, it might not necessarily work like in ours. We were trying for around like 3 months until we identify like the right pattern. And this is the one that we're following more or less. The next point is about something that I have seen in 2 clubs that I believe it makes you even more unique. This one is in Spanish, but this is a club in New Jersey called Toastmasters en Español. That means Toastmasters in Spanish. And every single time that you go to these meetings, they remind you their own motto. El Club de tus Sueños. That means the club of your dreams. Every single meeting when you open into that place, regardless if it's an American, if it's someone from Guyana, if it's someone from Latin America, whoever opens the meeting, they always remind you their own motto. It's not that it's only a Spanish-speaking club. You know, there are how many countries speak Spanish? How many clubs are in Spain? How many clubs are in Mexico? Many. But this is the club that they identify. This is the club of your dreams. And the people always mentalize that. They enter in their minds that this is the club of your dreams. Well, that's their motto. And this club is in which, where I belong for now, is called the Leadership Toastmasters. And they have their own ship that is as a reminder. As the ship is the reminder that they are in that way, that they are sailing into one direction. So people always identify those things. And this is when you think in these 2 clubs, I would say is when you go beyond expectations, because it's like the next level. You need to invest more time. And for example, this one is not a coincidence. This city is known because, let's say, hundreds of years ago, there were 3 rivers that crossed the city. Now they are underground. And there were many sailors in that city. That's why the city is called Wuch, that means boat. And that's why they decided to use this additional icon. As you see, they are not breaking the Toastmaster. They are using the blue color, and this is next to it. So nothing changed. And they use it in this way. Believe me, if you are able to identify something like this, it makes your club even shine over anyone on the internet. Now that I give you some ideas, we're gonna go to the next part of the game. That is social media standards. Yeah, there are different rules for Facebook, different rules for Instagram, different rules for LinkedIn. They don't work in the same way. And as I said, TikTok has even different rules. So there is not like a direct way that I'm gonna make a post that works everywhere. Not really. Starting from Facebook, there are 5 different sizes that you need to consider. Every time that you do share something in Facebook, and if you don't follow these standards, it might look awkward in a phone, it might look awkward in certain computers, it might look a little bit strange in certain devices. So yeah, the VPPR needs to consider these specific sizes that are here. This is for a post, this is for an event cover, for a group cover, for a cover, and for a story. I will say that Facebook has 2 main groups. Like the first one is to share like the events. Even in Poland, people, when they go to search for the events, you can find them in Facebook. They are not going to be in Instagram. So you will find them in Facebook. This is one of the main groups that you can rely there. And I will say people that are over 28, but not the younger generations, they wouldn't be here. As I said, if they go here, they will be only to check if there is something or there is an event. But the younger generations, like my brother or the next to my brother's ones, they don't really use it. The next one, the one that has been able to overcome many of the things, is Instagram, because Instagram is focused on pictures. It's not focused on long and complex messages. Is that you have a post that is a message and a story that is a temporal picture, but they have like they have standards. You have a post that this one can be smaller, but if you want have good quality, is 1080 by 1080, and a story is 1080 by 1920. So these are like the main standards, but there are important things to consider when you're using Instagram. The break lines, that is something that, let's say, to make you different paragraphs, they should be used dots, commas, or a different symbol, because I don't know why, but there is something in the system that removes them or deletes them. This is a mistake from Instagram. As a software developer, I say it's a massive mistake, but that's how it works. So you need to use some dots. The second one are videos. A video is not like in Facebook that I'm going to add like a full video. Not really. You need to have a 30 seconds video. And if you want to reach the largest audiences, like the question from Anna, this is key. Your video needs to be as short and precise as possible. As a VPPR, I'm very strict with the people that I have. I want 30 seconds videos. I don't want 1 minute, 2 videos, because first of all, you cannot upload it. And second, people, they don't tend to watch them. And if you want something longer, especially when you're a large influencer, then you can play with long stories or with Instagram TV that is that is 10 minutes maximum and 60 minutes maximum. If you're a very, very large influencer, let's call it Selena Gomez or someone like that, they can have a 60 minutes video, but not the majority of people. And there is a tricky thing, because when you create a post in Facebook, well, you can put whatever URL as you want. However, in Instagram, there is something important. It's called the bio. You should never, and when I mean never put a link into the text, into the post, because it's gonna be invisible. Good influencers will redirect you to the bio. The bio is the message, is the place where is your information, and here must be the links. And this is not that should be, it has to be, is a must. One of those must in the game. When you use Instagram, this is basic. There is that it cannot be even a should, because if you put it in the text, no one can click it, and they need to somehow choose the text and do a lot of work. And if I am, let's say, younger than my brother, I wouldn't try to even bother trying to select the text. Imagine someone who is in 80s, 18s, 19, is a teenager, or someone who's in the 20s something, the beginning of college. They wouldn't even bother. It's like, I cannot click it, bye. So, but when you redirect them to the bio, they enter to your profile, they see something else, maybe some information about your club, and then they click it. Because our club is called Roosevelt Storytellers. So we always highlight that we bring stories through life. So we create that image that we are storytellers. And Zoom is because, well, since the beginning of the pandemic, well, everything has been done through the internet. So we create them through the usage of Zoom. So when the people come to our bio, they think, oh, this is a cloud where people bring stories, create stories, and we use Zoom as our main media. You can use a different one. It's like, for example, we gather, I don't know, in Missouri, or let's say, or in San Francisco, you can highlight it, or Silicon Valley. You can highlight something different, but in our club, that's why it's Frostberg Storytellers. We want people always relate to that. We have our own hashtag too, that is Roosberg Storytellers, but there is a limit and we couldn't even expand it even more. It's just a highlight. In this case, it's a highlight that I want that people realize about the importance about us, Cheryl. The next one that we can consider, but it's not exactly so much using Toastmasters, even though could be, is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is let's say a more like a professional social media. I consider myself like very active in LinkedIn. I'm more active like saying LinkedIn, but as a personal person. That's why I know a lot of things. At a good post will have this is 1,200 pixels by 628 pixels. Is a good post. A cover page, we're going to explain you what is that. This is important. It should have these measurements, and the stories, it has the same size. They don't change. But now we'll go to the important things of LinkedIn. First one, post videos are maximum 10 minutes. They cannot be 15 minutes, 20 minutes or something else. It's maximum 10. Important links are highlighted as the first comment. Yeah, LinkedIn allows you to use links inside the post, but LinkedIn has a very specific way of thinking. The LinkedIn people, the first thing that they're going to do is go to the post and check the first link that the person are relating to. Because if you want to, I don't know, I wanted to visit my website, it has to be the first link. It shouldn't be inside of the post, because then the people are not really going to click it. That's like the LinkedIn way of thinking. And the third one, this is important, create a page, not a profile. How do you create a page? You go to your profile. Next to it, there is this special symbol, like we call it a hamburger menu. Then we do click, and this is create a company page. This is really easy, and I'm telling you this because it's not the first time that someone adds me in LinkedIn as to join to a club, and it gives a very misleading experience when you are like, why you are adding me? You are not a follower, or you are not a real user. Someone can even report your account, because when you have a company, it should have a company page, not a website, or not something a little bit different. The next point. Now we know something about the standards that are very, very important if you want to shine in this game. It's not only about consistency, but using the right standards. The next one are tools. People are all say, well, but what tools do you use? Do you use Photoshop? Do you use another magical application in the game? No, I only use PowerPoint. Let's say I have exploded PowerPoint. I know how to describe it, but it's like, I believe that I am an expert in PowerPoint. I have even built cards, like I have built a lot of crazy things for Toastmaster diplomas and everything in PowerPoint, to be honest. But there are things that needs to be started. First, build a template. This is what I showed you before. And we have these templates. But to make your life and to give you something that can help you in your game, I built, even for all of you for today, I created this drive where you can get a copy of all of them: cover, event cover, group cover, post, and they are for the measurement. So you only need to start playing with your colors, everything that you are going to build for you. So you don't need to start playing with everything that I explained you and everything that we invested several hours. So in this link that I'm going to share you at the end, is everything ready for you. So you can start even today, download everything and start working with your case study, and start building the things in the best way ever. The next point, get extra pictures. This is a tricky point, because many people will say, well, but we don't know how to get pictures and how we don't break copyright things. I'm going to teach you how to do it. there is many of us know this website called Google. Then you can choose images. Then let's say tomorrow we're gonna speak about traveling. So there are some pictures about traveling. Yeah, but they can have copyrights. This is a fault that most people have. So what you can do, you do click in tools, then here you have different options and usage rights. The first one, Creative Commons licenses. Creative Commons licenses allows you to distribute them without many problems. And now you have pictures. Almost every picture that you see here, you can download it and you're not going to go into copyright things that you need to download your picture, that you need to remove it, delete it. And this saves you a lot of time. So you can search for specific pictures that meet your needs. In my case, since tomorrow is about traveling, but I need to have an icon. And based on what I see here, then I start thinking what can meet our requirements. I will say that I will take this one from our case. Then you can go inside, like icon scout. And then it asks you, like, here you have an option. You can download it, you set your size. It might ask you to log in some cases, but that's pretty much all. And this icon that you have here, you're not going to get something else. You might need to add some attribution, like to highlight that someone else built it, but it's free in the end. The next point is about how to, because when you build the pictures, how do you really get them? Let's suppose that I have this picture. I have a lot of presentations. How do I get the good picture from this? You go to File, Save As. Let's say, get the storytellers. In my case, I'm gonna store them for this moment in the desktop because we have our personal. I choose here, like, for example, like PNG. I choose just this one. And here it is. It's a little bit slow today. And here we have it even cut anything extra. So as you can see here, there was something outside the boundaries and everything stay inside. The link I'm going to share you, Brenda, which link, the one about the templates, I'm going to share it in a moment, or which one you would like. Oops. I'm going to share it in a moment. The link is this one. This is the long link, but I can share it too. This is the link. They are free to use for your own needs. And the third one, this is like a little bit advanced and only something important is Windows only. I haven't checked in, let's say, in Office 2019 or maybe Office 365 in Mac OS, but you can record your own videos. And here the people, as you can see, we have a small video. We record it too, we save it. And then after you start saving it, you can choose MP4, and then you have your own video too. So like in my case, I'm searching for which one because this was a video for today. Then you go to the options and then you have MP4, and then it's the same. It cuts whatever is outside the boundaries, and then you have your own video. Only one thing importantly, you have to have only one picture. If, for example, I try to export everything and then it's going to export it's going to create a video with everything. So I need to have only one. Now it can export only this one, but if not, it will create a video with all the slides. And now we're going to go to the tips and tricks that can help you succeed in this game. Number one, short and precise post. When you are not like, let's say, a large influencer or someone in this game, you need to have precise messages. You see, we have only 3 paragraphs, like our ambitious Chilpa is closer to become our next DTM because she's on that path. Congrats for her level 3. How are your members going? So we even every time we finish with a question, because we want that people interact with us. We would like to do that. We want that the people feel our followers that they are part of our tribe. We want that they feel, hey, maybe we're not your members, but we're part of your tribe. When the people thinking Roosevelt story speakers and storytellers, they are part of our tribe. We don't treat them differently. They are our followers. They are part of us. The next one, follow others and interact. Yeah, we have over 1,000 followers. We reached this milestone yesterday, but we follow a lot of people too, and we interact with them. This is crucial. You need to interact with others. See it in like a win-to-win relationship. If you would like that someone makes you a favor in the real life, you need to make them a favor too. If you don't make them a favor, they will not make you a favor in the future too. If you say no, there are high chances that the person will not help you. So it's the same in social media. You need to interact with others if you would like that they interact with you. Something important, something that I've been teaching to my colleagues in Toastmasters, always use hashtags. You can avoid hashtags in the moment that you become, I don't know, Selena Gomez or a very, very large influencer with, I don't know, 20, 50,000 followers, that your post will just speak by itself. But until you become that very famous person on the internet, the hashtags has to be used and they are not optional. How do you choose your hashtags? We're coming to the identity. Our hashtag, the first one is Roosevelt Storytellers. This is the first one that is always here, always, because this is us. Then you have the ones from Toastmasters, some related to Zoom meetings, some related to storytelling, the District 7. We follow people. We have the Toastmaster International, Toastmaster Family, like for like. And as I said, we interact with them. And then we go to crucial ones. Shilpa is an ambitious woman. So we are empowering women. And we are allowing people like her to become even better than she is. Shilpa is a very, very fantastic woman in our club, very, very active, trying to do a lot of things, a fantastic wife, woman, data analysis, and we want the people realize about that. Also, she's from India, but she's living in Brussels, that is in Belgium. So we do all that combination so people realize of who is Shilpa, and we tag her so people go to her and know who is Shilpa. The next one, emojis are power. Yeah, this one you will have controversial people. Some people don't like them. Some people like them. It's something in between. In my experience, hashtags, emojis are useful, but it's like everything. If you eat too much pizza and Coke and you don't do any exercise, you will become very fat. So if you abuse of the emojis, then people will see you as a very informal person. But if you use them wisely and you don't abuse of them, they will help you. So don't overuse them. Just use the ones that you need. For example, we're happy that we're going to speak about books because people love books, and we highlight a book, but we don't make a lot of many more. The next one. This is related to the questions about using different tools. In my experience, the VPPR in these days, now, cannot be one role. It cannot. You need to have at least 2 or 3 people from different backgrounds to manage it properly. If you have only one person, then it's going to work only in Instagram or only in Facebook or only in LinkedIn. And what else when TikTok comes and enforces its presence? You need to move to TikTok. So you need another person who knows about TikTok. So you need a constant research and analysis. So you need to have at least 2 or 3 people for performing this role. I would create an additional role in your club so the person can be directly connected. I know that the Toastmasters will not give them the points or the things like that, but really, to succeed in this game, you need to have at least 2 or 3 people working together. One person is not going to work because, as I said, there are different standards that you can see in one website, in another website, and so on and so on. The next one, as I said, the pictures. You need to take good pictures. And how do you identify great pictures? For example, this is a picture from Ayo. And this specific picture that we took long time ago is a very important picture that we use multiple times. Why? Because she's thinking and she's taking actions. So it's a great picture. But this is a picture that we took it and it went very badly. Unfortunately, you see the person clapping, but you cannot see her face. Even though the place looks nice, you need to, this one should be discarded. So take a lot of pictures, store them and have them, because sometimes you can reuse them. For example, for the contest, we cannot really use the pictures from that meeting. We might not. So yeah. And the last one, and perhaps one of the most important tricks, tag your members and set the location. Do not set locations anywhere, or I'm not putting where is the main place. We said this is India because Jasmine is the first person from India. But at the same time, you see, Jasmine is here, Kunal is here, and Melba are here. So people identify these ladies. When they check here, okay, I want to see who is Melba, and they go to her profile, and the people can interact with her. So you are creating not only a brand for you, but a brand for your people. So people think I am part of this place. So people can realize, hey, maybe I would like to make some businesses with Kunal because she's a teacher who wants to make education more accessible to people, to children in Cambodia. And oops. And this is, let's say, pretty much all that I have for now. I know that there are many more things that I could add, but I will say it will need maybe a second or third session. And now I would like to know if you have any questions or anything else that you would like to ask me. Let's say that I set around 30 to 40 minutes daily. And I tend to do it in the early morning. Well, I am an early bird, so I wake up at 5 a.m. So I tend to do this as my first thing after my coffee. And yeah, you need at least 30 to, and as I said, this is because we work in 1 or 2 social medias, but if you need more, then you need more people. The ad is now going to the question from Candy. Candy, is the ad is this one. Tagging people. When you put a tag, you need to know the identifier of the person. Yes, it's daily. Regarding to Namita, the question is daily. That's every day. You have to have daily if you want to post, like create a very, very large influence in the stories from the perspective of how to call it. From the stories perspective, you need to share at least 10 stories daily, but this is a different story. And and 1 or 2 posts per day is crucial. But yeah, related Facebook is different, but in Instagram you need at least 2, at least 1 or 2. Yeah, as I said, something that you can start in your case, Chris, I suggest you to check this website called Adobe Colors. This is for me one of the best tools I have that I use. I use it professionally for other fields, like building my website. I probably there are some clubs, but the difficult thing about using, let's say, software, the thing is that you need to use different websites. Facebook has a website that allows you to upload the things preloaded related to your question, Kate. Yeah, Adobe Colors is free. You just need to choose your color. You enter here, you just need to know the color, and it will give you like the right combinations. To search for the free, you go to Google Images, search for what you want to do, check tools, and then in this area you will have something about licenses, and you need to choose the first one, Creative Commons licenses. Let me create you a link about my website. I will say that we have brought at least 4 to 6 members more. I wouldn't say it's a very, very large group of people, but let's say the most important for us has been more to revive the club, because at the beginning of the year, when I was their coach, there were 3 members. And in June, we were president selected distinguished. So for us, the most important has been to create that brand and to keep our club alive. And more than alive, make it even greater than it was ever in their times. Because from 3 members, we have a very active community, and it's something that for us has been key. Yeah, to transform the members is something that you are building. But for example, Melba and Kunan, both of them came from Instagram. They didn't know anyone. I remember that the first time that Melba contacted us, he just came to the meeting, and and the same story was with Kunan. Both of them came from Instagram. For us, it was very impressive that, well, they said, yeah, I saw your pictures, and in Indonesia, a lot of people know about our club. I would say that Indonesia has become like the main place where people knows about our club. But as I said, something important that you need to remember, and your homework for today, if I were you, is to think in what makes your club unique. I'm telling you that because I even contacted the people from Madrid, and my first question was, what makes your club unique? I am already an experienced member. Yeah, I'm moving to a different country, but I'm not gonna join to every club. It's like, I want to know, why should I give you my $50? Why should I give you to you and not, for example, to Toastmasters Madrid, or maybe to the Advanced Toastmaster Club? I need to see that part. And as I said, for me, your first homework should be think in this, because when you go to the online world, this is more important than anything else.
Fredrico, we can get one last question in before we have to end the session.
Yes, sure.
And Fredrico, could you possibly put the link to your slides here in the chat?
Yes, it's here in the chat. I share it now.
Awesome. And I'm also going to put the links in the chat for the next round of sessions. They do begin at 10:15, so you will have a small break in between in order to get to your next room. And so if Fredrico, you could put one more time a link for your slide presentation, thank you, in the chat. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause. You can turn on your cameras and give a virtual round of applause to Fredrico. Did an amazing job today. We thank you so much. This is valuable. I hope that all of you can take something away from this, and I know I will, and go from there. So everyone, I hate to end this meeting now, but go on to your next rooms. You have about 15 minutes to do so. Grab some coffee of your choice or drink of choice, and we'll see everyone in the next round of sessions here at 10:15. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.